Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, I'm doing a video today. I've been kind of putting this one off. I've been putting it off because historically people don't really watch this video, and it's a shame because this is going to be one of the best knowledge drops that you're going to get. Okay? Share it with your clan, share it with your family, share it with your dogs. Get people involved, get people to understand this knowledge, because actually it's not just going to enhance your knowledge of the Great Hall. It's going to help you make decisions throughout the game. Okay, they're all connected. It's all connected up. So I'm going to do an updated video on my Great Hall guide, which I did literally like probably 2 years ago or something. And the game has evolved. The game has changed. What I want to do is kind of talk you through why my free-to-play is going in the direction it is versus what my old videos would have told you to do. Yeah, so we want to spread the new news, all right? And help people understand why I'm taking this direction versus what I would have done in the past. So before we get into it, let's just kind of touch on a couple of clangers that people do. Yeah, the game directs you to build out attack first. Okay, it directs you in that path with some of the early missions. And attack percent is the worst return on your investment that you can get in the Great Hall. It's the worst, okay? There's niche spots where it's helpful, but honestly, it's the worst because every single champion in the game gets benefit from every other stat on here, almost. There's probably a handful of champions that don't benefit from accuracy, but we'll get onto that in a minute. But attack percent literally only benefits champions where their base stats or their skills are based on attack. Yeah, if you put a defensive-based champion like an Armada, if you put any attack into his build, it does nothing at all. You could put 10 million attack into his build. It would make not a single bit of difference to any skill that he does, any damage that he hits for at all. Okay? Therefore, attack percent is the worst one you can level up because it only affects a certain percentage of the champions in the game, whereas every other stat affects them all. Okay, that's kind of one thing out there. Now, what I want to kind of talk to you about is the Great Hall and the return on your investment. Yeah, the Great Hall is not something you can just throw money at and enhance. Yeah, not in the same way you can with champions and books and stuff. The Great Hall is a grind. Yeah, and you have to kind of grind it out, and eventually you'll kind of start to max different stats. Now, I've pulled together just a kind of simple one-page grid around why some decisions are being made on my free-to-play, but also how it should help you make decisions. Yeah? Let's assume that we want to get to a certain build on our champions, and every single stat is an option within that build, and we want a certain amount of health, a certain amount of accuracy, a certain amount of damage. Yeah? And to do that, we've got a number of ways to get there. We have things like our arena tier, which gives us stats. We have things like the Great Hall, which gives us stats. We have things like our gear sets, which gives us stats, our base stats, our auras, our buffs, etc., etc. Yeah, so there's everything kind of compounds on itself to get you to your build. Now, the things that are totally in our control are what gear we put on our champions, yeah, and how we build out the Great Hall. That's totally in our control. I guess the arena tier probably is a little bit as well. So when I started to look at stats for the Great Hall, what I'm doing is I'm pitching it against gear pieces, yeah? And a gear piece at level 5 has got different chances to roll different stats. So on a 5-star piece, you could get an HP roll, which would be between a 4% and 6%. Every time you roll that piece of gear, let's find one quick, piece of gear with an HP percent substat, yeah, you've got a chance for it to roll somewhere between 4 and 6% on a 5-star piece. If you've got a 6-star piece, it can actually roll somewhere between 5 and 7. Yeah, so the higher star rating you've got, the better rolls you can get from your pieces. So every time you roll that piece of gear, it's got a chance to land another percentage roll. So what I've done here is I've said, right, well, if we took a Great Hall stat to level 10, level 6 and then level 10, what percentage do we gain from that stat? So HP, attack, and defense. Each of those, if we roll it out to level 6 in the Great Hall, Level 6, we get plus 10%. Okay? So plus 10%. If we take it up to level 10, we get plus 20%. And then we've got crit damage is actually scales a little bit better. You get plus 12, plus 25. And then resistance and accuracy both scale the same. If you get the resistance and accuracy up to level 6, it's 40. If it's level 10, it's 80. Yeah? What I've then done is I've pitched that against getting rolls in those different substat drops. So on average then, if you were to take your Great Hall up to level 6, that's the equivalent of having 2 substat rolls in HP. Same for attack, same for defense. But attack is worse because it only affects a certain number of your champions, whereas the attack and defense affects everybody. Yeah? You get a slightly better return for crit damage. So if you was to take your Great Hall up to level 6, you actually get a 2.4 equivalent of rolls on your gear. So instantly, crit damage is worth more in the Great Hall than the HP, defense, and attack in terms of return for your investment. Yeah, you get 2.4 for level 6 versus 2s for the others. You then get a whopping 4 times return for resistance and accuracy, which is why accuracy's always been the one that people say go and max it first. Yeah, resistance is a bit niche, although with Doom Tower now it's way more important. And a lot of people would argue that resistance is actually the one you should max out first now. There's a good argument for that as well, because, you know, even at level 6 against 5-star gear, you're getting a 4 roll return for your investment. If you took it up to level 10, pretty much they all double. Apart from crit damage, gets a slightly better tweak at the end. So actually crit damage kind of scales better than the others within the Great Hall as well as at level 6. Yeah. But certainly accuracy, resistance, and crit damage give you a better return for your investment than HP, defense, and attack. If you were to roll it against level 6 gear, because you get better gear at level 6 with better substat rolls, the reward is slightly worse. So if you're someone who's got a lot of 5-star gear on your champs, then the Great Hall gives you a better return than if you've got someone who's kind of building up the 6-star gear, just naturally, if you're comparing it to the rolls that you would get. So at this point, you've got the same spread, but actually the crit damage scales even better than attack, defense, and HP, and resistance and accuracy are kind of up there as well. So definitely the 3 stats that you should hone in on are accuracy, resistance, and crit damage. Now, the reason why on my free-to-play I've gone crit damage first is because I think with gear sets that you can now get from the Forge, particularly Perception, yeah, Perception giving you speed and accuracy together becomes a very, very sexy set. And what you'll find is, whereas in the past, when I first did my guides on Great Hall, getting to the accuracy levels you needed for Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, level 20 dungeons, all that sort of stuff was hard to do. Whereas now, it's way easier. You've got potential of 6-star banners, which give you now 90. Do I have any? I don't think I've got any, actually. But there's potential to get 6-star banners, or 5-star still, which will give you like 78 up to 96 accuracy straight away. Because you can get 6-star drops now, you get higher potential rolls on accuracy substats from your amulets and from all of your gear. And so you get to the point where with Perception set on top of that for a plus 40 accuracy, you can actually get to the required accuracy levels much easier than you used to be able to. Yeah, which for me means that accuracy no longer becomes the one that you pump to 10. I think you pump crit damage to 10 on whoever your kind of main set of damage dealers are first. Then you draw other stats up to level 6. Because for the cost to get to level 6 versus pushing something to 10, dramatically lower. Yeah, so basically, if it would cost 400 silver bars, it's going to cost 200 gold bars. Just halve it. Yeah, if it costs 500 gold bars, it's going to cost 500 silver. It's going to cost you 250 gold bars. Yeah, so to move from 20 to 30 accuracy here, gaining you plus 10, it's going to cost 250 gold bars. Whereas to move from 60 to 70, still a gain of plus 10, it's going to cost you 900 gold bars. So I always say to people, don't just focus on 10s, 10s, 10s. And also don't focus on must do every single thing the same because I've got OCD. Actually, focus on where you get the best return for your Great Hall investment every time you do it. So now that I'm going to hit level 10, I've just got enough gold bars here to do it. What I'm going to do now is push accuracy and resistance up to level 6, crit damage up to level 6 before I focus on anything over the other side. I'll then push all of these up to level 6 before I even start to make any of my Great Hall golden on the free-to-play. Okay? And I'll do it in order of where do I get the most return for my investment in terms of comparing it to sub-stat rolls that I can get from gear. Okay? The other overlay, which you have to do here, which people don't seem to do, is consider who you use. Okay? So when I was building out my crit damage to level 10, my thought was I've got Ninja who's doing a lot of damage. I already own Kale, who was my arena neuter at the time. And I knew that I had Venomage as well. So I had 3 champions who were all magic affinity, 2 of which I used heavily for damage. Okay, so that was why magic affinity was the one to go for. If I consider where I'm going next, honestly, where I need accuracy is Deacon, Farakin, and Armiger, yeah, which is all spirit affinity champions. So they all need accuracy in their builds. So it would make sense for me to take spirit accuracy up to level 6. Other things like crit damage. Well, crit damage now needs to go on my Magnar, who's now my arena nuker. So that would be a good one for me to take to 6. And if I think about, Void champions, I finally got one that I want to level, Coldheart. So she does need accuracy and crit damage to do the jobs that I want her to do. So I will need to pump those up, at least to level 3, whereas at the moment they're sitting as level 0. Yeah, so I will start to work on those. So I've kind of got myself a firm plan on where I'm taking stats based on the champions I own and based on the return for my investment in the Great Hall. So look, I hope that's helpful. I hope it's clear. Make decisions not based on me telling you now build crit damage. Make decisions based on what do you need in your accounts based on the champions you've got and what you need them to do. Okay? And yeah, don't kind of get caught in the trap of, pumping attack to level 10 because that's the first thing the game pushed you towards, or just mindlessly pumping accuracy up to level 10 across the board because that's what you saw somebody do 2 years ago. Hope that's helpful, guys. I've been Hell Hades. I will see you later.